Picture this. You're sitting across the table from me. The lights are dim, maybe a little flickering neon in the background if we, want to really set the mood.
Okay, yeah.
You've got a stack of cards in your hand, your cash, as the rulebook calls it, and you're staring at this board that looks less like a game and more like, I don't know, a battlefield grid?
It's an intimidating sight for the first time, for sure. The layout alone is enough to make a casual player just hesitate.
It really is. You've opened the box for Arkaia, the refined master compendium, and frankly, the rulebook looks dense. It's technical, it's heavy. But you aren't just here to play a card game.
No,
You're here to become a synapse lord.
that is exactly the mindset you need. If you approach Arkaia thinking it's just about playing the highest number on a piece of cardboard, you've already lost. This is a pressurized data stream.
A data stream.
You're managing resources, geometry, and ultimately the ability to overwrite reality itself. It's not just a game, it's a simulation of command.
And that is exactly why we're doing this deep dive today. We have the source material, we have the rulebook, but we aren't just going to read the manual to you. We're going to decode the strategy behind the rules.
Right.
We need to talk about the relic essence economy, which sounds fancy but is actually brutally difficult to manage, the geometry of combat, and the ultimate goal, ascension.
Precisely. We need to move past the what and get to the why. Why does the game force you to destroy your own cards? Why does facing a unit sideways change the entire mathematical formula of a fight?
Right.
By the end of this, you won't just know the rules, you'll understand the rhythm of the grid.
So let's start with the engine, the fuel. The game calls it relic essence, or RE. In most games I've played, you get mana automatically every turn, or you play a land card. You're good. It's passive. But Arkaia makes you work for it.
It does. Think of relic essence as the electricity running through your side of the board. It is the fuel for every manifestation, every unit you want to bring into existence. Now, the game is generous enough to start you with a reserve of 3 RE. That's your starter battery. But if you want to do anything significant, you need more. And getting more requires a sacrifice.
And this is the mechanic they call harvesting, or I've heard people call it the dump. And I have to say, looking at the rules, this feels bad emotionally.
It does.
To get more fuel, I have to take cards from my hand, my cash, and send them straight to the recycle bin.
It's the first hurdle for a new player.
Yeah.
You look at your hand, and you see potential. You see a cool level 3 warrior or useful spell. But the game demands you view those cards as raw data.
Just data.
To harvest, you move a card from your hand to the recycle bin, and you gain RE equal to that card's level. You are literally deleting your future options to power your present actions.
So let's break down the math just to be crystal clear. If I trash a level 2 unit, I get 2 RE.
2 RE.
If I trash a level 4, I get 4 RE.
Correct. You are liquidating assets.
That seems straightforward, but then I'm looking at the caps section here, and this is where I think a lot of rookies, myself included, would get tripped up.
Okay.
I can't just dump my whole hand and have infinite power on turn 1, can I?
No, and this is where the game design is really smart. There are strict caps pacing mechanisms to prevent the game from spiraling out of control instantly. First, there's the harvesting cap.
Okay.
You can only gain a maximum of 4 RE via harvesting per turn.
Oh, that changes things significantly. So even if I have a handful of high-level cards, I'm willing to sacrifice, say I have 2 level 4s I want to dump.
Oh, yeah.
I literally cannot intake that much energy.
Exactly. The system won't accept the surge. You can dump 1 level 4 card to get 4 RE, and you're done harvesting for the turn. Or you can dump 2 level 2s, but you cannot go over 4.
Wow.
It forces you to be efficient. You can't just burn everything for a massive spike. You have to drip feed your economy. It turns the game into a marathon, not a sprint.
And on top of that, there's the storage cap. Because I was thinking, okay, maybe I just save up for 3 turns and then unleash hell.
The game is ahead of you on that one. The storage cap is 10 RE. You can never, under any circumstances, hold more than 10 RE in your reserve.
Never more than 10.
If you're at 10, harvesting does nothing. You are fully pressurized. Any extra energy just leaks out into the void.
So you can't hoard, and then there's the spending limit, the manifesting cap.
Right again, you can only spend a maximum of 6 RE to play units per turn. Now, there is one very specific exception to this rule involving level 5 units.
Which we'll get to.
Yeah, we will get to that because that breaks the game in its own way. But for general gameplay, you are throttled at 6.
Let's unpack the strategy there, because this feels incredibly restrictive compared to other card games. I can gain max 4, hold max 10, and spend max 6 on units.
Right.
This tells me that Arkaia isn't a game where you just vomit your hand onto the board to overwhelm the opponent.
No, it's a game of rhythm.
Huh.
Think about those numbers. If you harvest too much and hit the storage cap, you're wasting cards in your hand because you can't convert them to energy.
You're just throwing them away for nothing.
Exactly. If you don't harvest enough, you can't hit that 6 RE spending cap to maximize your board presence. You have to play smart, not just rich. You have to look at your hand and ask, which of these cards is ammunition and which of these cards is just a battery waiting to be drained?
That is a tough choice. It forces you to undervalue cards you might love because you need their energy more than their effect. It's like,
Right.
do I want the soldier or do I want the bullets?
That's a great way to put it. And remember, once it's in the recycle bin, it's usually gone. You're making permanent decisions every single turn.
Okay, let's say I've made the hard choice. I've sacrificed my cards, I've harvested my RE, and now I want to play a unit. This brings us to the actual board. And this is where things get really interesting visually.
Yes.
It's not just about playing a card, it's about how you place the card.
Orientation is destiny in Arkaia. This is one of my favorite parts of the system. Every unit has 3 primary stats. ATK, which is attack, stability for defense, and HP for health.
Got it.
But, and this is the critical part, those stats are not always active. When you manifest a unit, you have to choose a mode.
We have vertical and horizontal. To me, vertical looks like the card is standing up, ready to fight.
That's the execution position. When a card is vertical, its active stat is ATK. This is the aggressive stance. Only units in the vertical position can declare an execution, which is the game's term for an attack.
So if you want to hurt your opponent, you have to be vertical.
You have to be vertical. You cannot attack from the ground.
Okay, but if I'm vertical, am I vulnerable?
You are exposed because you aren't focusing on defense. The alternative is the horizontal position or stability position. You turn the card sideways.
Okay.
Now, the active stat is stability. These units are in a defensive posture. They cannot attack. They are walls.
So I can't just attack with everything and then hope to defend. I have to decide who is the sword and who is the shield. Can I change my mind later? Or once a wall, always a wall?
You can change, but it's regulated. This is the dance of the game. When you first play the card manifestation, you pick the position. Then, every turn during the refresh phase, at the very start, you can shift all your units for free.
All of them?
All of them. You can flip your whole board from defense to offense if you want.
That sounds chaotic, like the tide going out and coming in.
It signals your intent for the turn. If I see you flip your entire board vertical during the refresh phase, I know you are coming for my throat.
Oh, okay.
But there's also the manual shift. During your main phases, a unit can manually change position once per turn. This allows for some, tactical flexibility. Maybe you attack with a unit and then realize you left a gap.
But wait, usually once you attack, you're committed, right?
Generally, yes. But looking at the class breakdowns, warriors are mentioned as masters of this frontline manipulation.
Yeah.
It implies they have abilities that let them cheat the system.
Oh, interesting.
Attack and then shift to guard. That is a huge advantage in this geometry. Imagine hitting someone and then immediately raising a shield.
It really emphasizes that the board is dynamic. It's not static pieces. They are shifting and rotating. But let's get to the actual fight, the execution phase.
Right.
You mentioned earlier that only vertical units can attack.
Correct. Combat only happens when a vertical unit targets an opponent. But how that combat resolves depends entirely on the defender. This is where the math gets fascinating and where most new players miscalculate.
I saw this in the rules and it blew my mind a little bit. It's called Clash versus Siege.
Yes, this is the core combat loop. Let's walk through a scenario. You have a vertical unit, let's say a Scoria Berserker, with 20 ATK.
Okay, I'm coming in hot. 20 ATK.
You decide to attack my unit. If my unit is also vertical, standing up to fight, that is a clash.
Okay.
The math is ATK versus APK. It's a duel. Two warriors swinging at each other. High risk, high reward.
So in a clash, my ATK just has to be higher than your ATK.
Exactly. It's a measure of aggression against aggression. If I have 15 ATK, you win by 5.
But what if your unit is horizontal, lying in that stability position?
Then it becomes a siege. Now, the math changes completely. It becomes your ATK versus my stability.
Yeah.
You are trying to break down a wall.
That changes everything regarding target selection. If I'm playing against a unit with low attack but massive stability, say 25 stability, I don't want to siege them with my 20 ATK unit.
Exactly. If you attack my 25 stability wall with your 20 attack sword, You aren't just failing to do damage. You are walking into a disaster.
Right, because of the rebound damage. This is the part that scares me.
This is the danger of the execution phase. If the defender's stat, whether that's ATK in a clash or stability in a siege, is higher than your attacker's ATK, the attacker takes the damage equal to the difference.
Ouch. So in that scenario, I swing at your wall with 20 force. Your wall has 25 resistance. I take 5 damage.
You take 5 damage to your own unit's HP. You literally hurt yourself by attacking the wrong target. It's like punching a concrete wall. The wall is fine. Your hand is broken.
That makes attacking really scary. It's not just click to attack. You have to check the mat every single time.
It forces you to respect the opponent's board state. You can't just mindless aggro. And if the stats are equal, it's a stalemate. No damage dealt.
Just a clang.
The metal just clangs together, sparks fly, and both units stay standing.
Now, does range play into this? Can I just... Anyway, I want to avoid the bad matchups.
No, and this is where grid placement matters. Level 1 units have straight range. They can only hit the zone directly ahead of them.
That's it.
That's it. If there's nobody there, they are staring at empty space.
So you can literally hide from a level 1 unit just by stepping to the side.
Exactly. But level 2, 3, and 4 units have cone, range, straight ahead, plus the 2 diagonals. They have a wider field of fire.
Okay, much better.
And level 5. Level 5 is Omni. They can target anything on the opponent's field. There's no hiding from a level 5.
That feels like a good transition to talk about who we are playing, because all these rules, the RE economy, the rotation, the combat math, they must feel different depending on which faction you choose.
Oh, absolutely. The rules are the physics of the world, but the factions are the cultures inhabiting it. They each exploit a different part of the rulebook.
Let's run through a few of them to give the listener a taste of the playstyles. I was looking at the Bio-Gothic Sprawl. First of all, great name. Sounds messy.
Very messy. Their composition is beasts, organics, and undead. Their philosophy is organic assimilation and rot. Tactically, this translates to high HP.
Ah, so they're tanky.
Super tanky. Remember how we talked about surviving damage?
Yeah.
The Bio-Gothic Sprawl is built to take a hit. They are sponges. If you're playing against them, you have to chew through so much meat to get a kill.
Gross, but effective. It sounds like they win by attrition. What about the Hallow Grid? That sounds more high-tech.
The Hallow Grid is magicians, mechanical units, and rogues. Their philosophy is digital purge and factory resets. Their tactical edge is high range.
Just snipers.
They are the ones utilizing that cone and omni, targeting most effectively. They don't want to get close to you. They want to snipe you from a diagonal while you're stuck trying to move forward.
Okay, so if Bio-Gothic is a tank, Hallow Grid is a sniper. Then we have the Ivory Orthodoxy. Sounds religious.
High stability. They are the masters of the horizontal position. Their philosophy is the restoration of the mandate.
So they're the wall builders.
Exactly. If you play Ivory Orthodoxy, you are forcing your opponent into siege calculations constantly. You are putting up walls that are incredibly frustrating to break down.
That sounds annoying to play against. You're constantly risking rebound damage against them.
They win by making you hurt yourself. They stand still, and you break your weapons on their shields. And finally, the Scoria cult.
Let me guess. These are the aggressors.
High TK, industrial sacrifice.
Yeah.
Blood drive. These are your aggressive duelists. They want vertical engagements. They want clashes. They want to look you in the eye and see whose number is bigger.
I love how distinct those are. It really lets you pick a personality. Do you want to be the wall, the sniper, the tank, or the berserker?
And it changes how you value your cards. A Scoria cult player looks at a card and sees a weapon. A Bio-Gothic player looks at a card and sees a shield of meat.
But no matter who you play, there seems to be one ultimate goal. We mentioned it briefly earlier. The Ascended level 5 units. The rulebook describes them as the ultimate overwriting of the grid.
This is the end game. Most games have a big boss monster, but in Arkaia, manifesting a level 5 unit is a ritual. It breaks the standard rules we just talked about.
Right, because you said earlier the manifesting cap is 6 RE, but I'm looking at the chart here. These things cost 10 RE.
Correct. To play an Ascended unit, you need 10 RE. That is your entire storage cap. You have to be fully charged. You cannot have spent a single point on anything else that turn.
So you basically skip a turn of spending.
You have to. But it's not just about the energy cost. There's a catch, and it's a big one. You need a sacrifice, a vessel. You must perform the deletion of a level 4 unit already on the board.
Wait, level 4, that's a legendary rank unit. That's probably my best card on the table. I spent 4 RE in a turn to get that guy up.
That is the price. You have to sacrifice your strongest asset to make space for this god-tier entity. You have to be willing to kill your own general to summon a god.
So let me get this straight. I have to save up full energy, doing nothing else. I have to sacrifice my best unit, and when I play this level 5, what happens to my
Total
resources?
depletion.
Yeah.
Manifesting consumes all 10 RE. It doesn't matter if the card technically costs 10 Ys. The act drains you dry. You are left with 0 resources.
Oh, wow.
You are defenseless, economically speaking. You have put everything into this one basket.
That's a massive gamble. Why would I do that? What makes a level 5 unit worth deleting my legendary unit and bankrupting my economy?
The stats. We're talking about the 31 to 50 range for ATK and stability.
30 to 50.
To put that in perspective, a level 1 unit usually has stats between 1 and 5. A level 4 tops out at 30. A level 5 starts where the legends end. And remember the range.
Omni.
Omni. It can target any zone on the opponent's field. It doesn't care about positioning or blocking. It strikes where it wants. It is a game end.
So if you get one out.
If you get an ascended unit out and your opponent doesn't have an immediate answer, which they probably don't because the numbers are so high, the game is effectively over.
The text mentions that celestial-type units are the preferred vessels. Does that mean I have to use a celestial unit?
And says they are the preferred high-tier remnants. It implies synergy, maybe they give a bonus when deleted, or perhaps it's just lore flavor. But imagine the narrative there. You are taking a legendary celestial being and deleting it, erasing it from the grid to summon something that transcends the rules.
It brings us back to that core idea we started with regarding the recycle bin. The whole game is about destruction for power.
It is.
You destroy your hand to get RE, you destroy your units to get better units.
That is the Synapse Lord mentality. You cannot be attached to your data. The recycle bin isn't a graveyard, it's a fuel tank. If you are afraid to dump a card or afraid to sacrifice a unit, you will stagnate. And in Arkaia, stagnation is death.
It really reframes how I look at the board. When I see that level 4 unit, I shouldn't just be thinking, wow, that's a strong soldier. I should be thinking, is that a soldier or is that just a cocoon for something bigger?
Exactly. And that tension between holding on to what you have and destroying it for what you could have is what makes this game so compelling. You constantly have to ask, is this enough or do I need to burn it all down to reach the next level?
Well, my brain feels sufficiently pressurized with data now. We've covered the economy of the dump, the geometry of the siege versus the clash, the distinct personalities of the factions, and the terrifying cost of ascension.
We have. The next step is to actually sit down, shuffle that cash, and see if you can handle the stream.
I think I'm ready to give it a shot. And to you, listening, next time you're staring at a rulebook full of charts and numbers, remember, it's not just math. It's a narrative. It's a battle of philosophies.
And remember, when you are staring at that level 4 unit on your board, ask yourself, do you see a powerful asset or do you see a vessel waiting to be deleted for something greater? That choice defines the Synapse Lord.
Go leave some fragmented data, everyone. We'll catch you in the next deep dive.